So I'm recording this before some of the big troll level players play this one, but do it anyway. I have time. So what could possibly go wrong? The title is Bubsy, the art is Bubsy, and the description is from Bubsy 3D. So that's, I guess, the theme of the level, but not really since it's just a level. So the first thing here, when you try to just jump over, the P-switch loads and goes off. But when you fall for it, you notice that mushroom falls down. And this is a bit of a setup up here because there's one bomb just behind the coin. And coins are nice with P-switches because they blow up bombs but then get destroyed. So that blows up, lets the mushroom down. And then I have this Goomba muncher thing, which is released, and when it walks onto the other bomb, it blows up and drops the muncher and cannon to lock you in and give you a thing to die on. Then, right past here, you notice that there's one P-switch, that's what trolls you, and there's this second P-switch. I added that because this is a P-switch run section, and I didn't want it to be too difficult. I didn't want it to be too tight, and that's also why this mushroom platform is here behind some of the P blocks. And also because I knew people would slow down here the very first time, and so far they have just stopped here and ran out of times, whatever. But then, okay, this troll is kind of interesting because there isn't really a setup to it. Or, remove the POW, there isn't really a setup to it. It's just the fact that when there's a POW on a semi-solid like this in SMB3, if you jump at it at the right angle, or in the right position, you'll grab the POW and then go up onto the ledge. The cannon is in a specific spot where it just, if you jump up against it, it forces you to do that. It's possible even without the cannon, but it's very inconsistent. Okay, so then this is just really dumb. This is just a D-cheese thing with the block. Okay, so this clown car up here is to scare you from running from the switch because of the piranha thing. This piranha setup, so when you jump over this arrow, this pipe is visible for a bit. It spits out the piranha, and then the piranha is on the twister. It hits the spring and it gets stuck in the twister, and for some reason, with this setup, it kind of carries its momentum. If I start here, it acts differently, but still flies out of the twister and goes over here. And it only works with certain enemies, and sometimes they need parachutes or something, but this spring twister on the pipe setup. And the coins are all fake and lies. They don't do anything. In here, I added these cannons at the bottom. You can see them, and the reason that's there is because you're supposed to think it's oh, you can walk on the lava, and also this semi-lid. Oh, you can walk on the lava, jumps on there, you just die. Nope, I haven't seen anyone fall for that so far. And then up here, so this Thwomp is stacked on a Bowser Jr. so that it's kind of off-center, and the fish behind it, that's just timed to fall at the same time as the dying Thwomp. So this muncher originally wasn't here, so the room would look like this, and there's 3 trolls here. So jump for those cannons. If you jump, stop, get hit by the fish. But there was also, if you try to just run, that happens to you. You grab the POW and run into the muncher. But without this one here, everyone so far happened to just stop right in the safe spot. So I added a muncher so you'd get hit by the fish because I thought that was the better troll of all of those. These are really simple. Okay, this setup. So when cannons, so this is a setup I think I've shown before and other people have used. So cannons on conveyors, a note block pushes it, then the conveyor is able to push it out of the note block and into another cannon because note blocks being pushed onto more solid or whatever, so that they go in there. And when solid objects are overlaid, they don't get destroyed when blocks behind them change for some reason. So all those blocks, on-off blocks back there, shoot the cannons down, which pushes this boot down and stomps on you real fast. And then I have this weird fireball setup. So because I like having sections that don't have a lot of door or pipe transitions. You come in from the side, which means all of these things load from left to right. So I need to load this one, and if there's a cannon where a cannon tries to load, it will just despawn. So I have to have this one load, then these ones, then this one, then this fireball loads, melts the coin. I can kind of show this. That melts the coin, it moves over, and then it hits. Switch was wrong, but you could see what happens. And this one up is to hit the note blocks. And these springs are on a slope because if I just, I don't know if I have extra sprites to show this, but man, I have to change that. All that effort, but if those springs weren't on like a weird half block position, it would do that, or like other weird janky things could happen. Like, so that's why the springs have to be down. Okay, then this setup is just kind of dumb. So from the state being red after this troll, I already had a setup over here that was like going to be setting it back to blue because of the other thing. So I found that when you get to this point, it's halfway through the jump, it's gonna switch. So I've just made a dumb troll with that. Coin trail is a lie. Jump down here, you die. It's supposed to be if you would jump for these blocks and the muncher would block you and say just go fast. Or you could just do what people have done so far. Jump, stop here, and get hit. The muncher is on multiple layers of blocks because it starts blue, switches once, and then switches again to actually drop it. This setup, okay, so the point here was because of a level, I think it was one of the bandwagon levels, where they had like a boom boom in a clown car with a setup like this, where an icicle would kill it and you could actually get through. It turns out that with Lemmy, or I think other Koopalings, the icicle doesn't kill them, so even if you see the icicle dripping, which that's why this little pit is here, specifically so you can see it, it's like, you think it might kill them and it just doesn't. And then up at the top, you can hit the switch. That's intentional too, because I built this whole setup up here. Every time you hit the switch, it'll get set back to, blue state every time you hit the switch because of the Thwomp and Conveyor. And then I have a mole here. As soon as you go past the mole, it'll blow up the bomb. The bomb triggers the switch again, but it doesn't matter since if you were up here, you'd be able to open it no matter what. But it's the switch. It breaks this block here. And breaking a block below a Thwomp, or like, if a bomb hits a block below a Thwomp, it kills the Thwomp. It also blows up this, which is what drops the launcher. So you'd like come here, and you go up in the one way, and then hit that and see it gets turned off, then it's just fine. Dumb fireball troll. The funny thing about this is that you can't place red coins over sprites for some reason. So I put the coin to the side, so like, even if you hit the block, it doesn't collect it. That's pretty dumb. In here, I think the switch is wrong. Yeah. Okay, I'm actually gonna move all the way back and show what this room does normally, because it's one of my favorite setups in the level. Please set correctly. Get there. So you come in here, and got bomb, breakable wall. Go here. It hits once, hits twice, throw this, it's a third time, and hits the seesaw, and I got the sound effect. So that, just to make the wall too high. So how this works, when you first jump on the bomb, you activate this Thwomp. That hits this on-off switch at the bottom. And that's timed with the bomb timer, so that's how this all works. Then this setup at the top, if you watch, so we have a muncher next to a bomb, another bomb at the top. If I just hit this, it moves over, blows up that one, the other bomb drops in and it hits again. So this only needs to hit twice for the seesaw setup to work. I have it hit a third time to make sure the switch is blue when you first get CPU 1. And also dropping the Thwomp. You can look over here. So, see, it's stacked on a Piranha there, and then when it hits the note block, I should be able to do this. So it hits one, hits that. When it hits the note block, it like triggers it to fall, then also gets pushed over because of it gets stuck on the one way, and that lets it hit the seesaw without you having to be under it. Then this thing, one jump off a Goomba is apparently too hard for a troll level. I don't. Okay, but then there's this. So the first time you get here, it's blue. It's just a single switch track and a thing behind there. So the first time you get here, the platform pushes you up into the anti, and then the next times, this blooper comes down and hits you and all that. This setup is really simple. You can even see the mole in the note block. I think I can actually set this to day. The stuff in the lava is visible. So it just hits that, the spring hits the bone shell, and since the bone shell is floating, it can trigger a whole row of blocks. And I wanted multiple vines so that it would be like, oh, you hit every block and just ruined it for yourself completely. This Pokey setup is a little bit of a thing because there's like this cloud. So you can't just place the spring over the Pokey because this game is worse than Mario Maker 1. So the cloud has to hold it up just long enough for the spring to catch it. And I needed a muncher because I have a... there's a one-way there. So I need that one-way for the setup to work. And the spring there. And also a ceiling, so the muncher is just a ceiling. This is a really, really dumb troll. So this one-way shoot up here was literally just so that you'd like be scared of it and stop here before the thing. And then, yeah, and then it gets stuck. Epic troll. I think this troll is kind of self-explanatory. Then this thing, the whole top is just fake. And the red coins and stuff. Though, I have all these breakable blocks here just to... and 2 switches. That's an extra sprite, but it's just to make it look more like you need to kick the shells over. Up here, so the trigger for the Icicle Thwomp troll. So when you're on an Icicle and a switch block is there and it triggers, it pushes you down through it. So I have this. This is what actually activates it. A downward Thwomp usually if I had just like done like that, it would take a second before it goes off. See, it goes up and then down. So I have this set up above so that when it goes up, it crushes the bomb, and that makes it like instantly, as soon as you get in range, it'll go off. Then this is really simple and dumb, and I expected no one to fall for this, but if you hit this, he stands here. Epic funny troll. And then this thing, pretty obvious what's happening. Then this setup, this is designed to do nothing, but it's supposed to look like that would blow up the bomb. And then over here it actually blows up the bomb. So I have a 1-up. This is the same launcher note block trick. When 2 launchers are inside of each other and they're like not at the same height or they're falling, they try to not be inside of each other anymore. So that in this case it results in the left one being pushed up and blowing up the bomb. And actually I missed something. Where is it? Okay, this spike ball. So this is important because anytime you load this, it'll set the switch state to be blue. And you can see whatever color block is here, one of these setups will just make sure it's in that. Make sure this is solid whenever you load it. And then, so that's important for when you first reach checkpoint 2. Okay, so the checkpoint 2 setup is kind of complicated. This does nothing. And then in here... Oh yeah, I made it. Okay, but... So, up at the top is this weird thing. So, when you come into this room, I need a lot of things to happen. So the first time the switch will be set to blue, and you will either have the mushroom or not. I need it so that in either of those cases, this thing won't come up. And I need, if you did get the mushroom, I need the state to be set to red. Yeah, red. If I remember, it should be red if you do have the mushroom the first time. And actually, anytime you get the mushroom, it should be red. Once you respawn, you'll come in here, the switch will be red at first, and then if you don't have the mushroom, it changes. So if I just spawn, anytime you just spawn, it starts in red. So if I'm like this, see the left muncher spawns, the progressive power up hits it, and then that blows up the bomb and switches the thing to blue. Or yeah, if you're small, it needs to be switched to blue. Don't know if I messed it up once or whatever. Then if I give myself one of these, it won't switch, so it'll stay red. So Big Mario is always that. And then on the other side here, see this muncher only spawns if it's red. This one spawns if it's blue, and that's because these two setups are like similar, but they do the opposite thing. So this one switches if you don't have a mushroom. This one switches if you do have a mushroom. You see, the fire flower just rides the cloud into that, and the mushroom is able to move off the cloud before hitting the note block. So another progressive power up at the bottom, that's what pops up for you. And then we have this thing. So if I just load here, it's a good way to test. So this is as if you didn't get the mushroom. This 1-up spike ball falls, and that only exists to scare you, so that you'll do this. So I have conveyor. See in the water, there's just conveyors and a seesaw here. Because of this one way, when you push the right launcher down, it will push the left one up into the one way and push it through the seesaw, because seesaws can't like crush launchers or something, so it just gets pushed through and falls. And it lands on the conveyors and either goes left or goes right. And this side was supposed to give you an indication that they're on a seesaw by pushing this one up and blocking you. Okay, so this note block is the same. Anytime you get here, it'll be the same. And if I can manage to hit it, it spawns a string and dumps you in the lava. Sometimes that spring doesn't spawn, and I have no idea why. So that can be weird. Then there's this thing. So you'll notice that this Koopa has wings and the other one doesn't. But you can't jump on it either time. But the reason I wanted it to change the Koopa is so that you could see that it was different and think, oh, it's a slightly different Koopa, maybe it has a different hitbox or something like that. And down here is a conveyor, so it ends up being stuck on the sloped part. It's on the sloped part of the conveyor so that it lines up with the Piranha, and I have these hidden blocks as a backup, because you can technically still bounce on it without hitting the Piranha. I don't know if being here will actually load everything right, but I'm gonna try, so. Alright, it seems to have done. So, now you're in this spot. The spike ball doesn't do anything the first time. The note block, here's the note block, comes down, it gets stuck on the track, bounces the thing up. And this is all if you got the mushroom and you went through. This would go to the right. This would be, which one would it be? It would be the winged Koopa. These wouldn't move. And then the launcher is up by the time you get there. In this I have I have a hint, and I always say hints are bad, but I think this hint is okay because a couple reasons. So one thing about this is that when you see this hint and do the thing it says, it sends you down a different path. So it's not really a troll in itself, but it's setting up other trolls in the future. And also, so it is kind of a troll in itself, I think, at least if it works in a certain way. If you got the mushroom the first time and kept getting it because you thought it was correct, this thing is a nice reveal of like, oh, how did he know I would get that thing first? So, and that's because of a previous level, my collab with Soup, where we had something that was kind of like we didn't want you to get it the first time, and a bunch of people did. So I was like, well, if I just put it there, people will get it, and that's worked pretty well. So then you come back through the section, and it's all changed because of Switch. And one of my goals with this was to be like, oh, so people will expect it to be different, so I have to play off of that. So that's why this troll is the same, and this here changes in that way. That's the same. This thing is the same but also different, because jumping on there is still wrong, but it is a different enemy. And then when you jump across, it changes. That's just because these are held in place by the muncher, and the spike ball kills the muncher. Okay, then there's the interesting setup. So when I showed this room at first, I said don't look at Thwomp. That's because Thwomp is important now. So when a Thwomp, okay, so this Thwomp's on a note block and a seesaw, so this uses the seesaw pushing up trick, but the interesting thing is that it's just, where's the switch block? Get that out of here, and then, so when this Thwomp, as soon as this Thwomp loads, it'll bounce on the note block, and it goes down with the note block at first. And with this setup, where it's like seesaw is right on the corner, it'll actually do the catapult thing with the seesaw as the Thwomp is going down on the note block. So it just goes instantly as soon as the Thwomp is loaded. Noted, and the Thwomp just happens to load right as you walk, like on this block, or right as you walk to this pipe, and it lines up to put you into the other pipe. So let's just show what it actually does. And actually, fun fact, I just held right there, and you don't hit the spikes on this when you're doing it the right way. That's fun. Okay. Oh, and I didn't mention before, this donut drop is to get the Koopas in position before you can see them. Oh, okay, almost get it my own level. So see, look, you can't see anything, but it goes. That's when the Thwomp loads. And then, since the switch is in the other state, I have the bomb blow up this and say don't get I don't know if people have actually gotten the joke here, because it says don't get mushroom the first time, but then when you come back through, it says don't get, and then this thing is just despawned, so it says don't get trolled. Yeah. Okay, then the fun part. Okay, well this is just, everyone knows you can walk through the head of a dry bones, so it's like I'm trying to do a troll with that, except it's actually just don't do it. Okay, this setup changed a bit. This is what I probably did the most revisions on, because this ending was like, it was not awful, but it was, I'm still not completely happy with how it turned out. Like, okay, there's like a few ideas that went together into this ending section, and I like all of them, except that they individually have not worked very well on anyone. Okay, so this, so it's on, so the blue thing is behind the launches in the clown car, and this is supposed to be like based on other levels that had a similar trick. I think it was Juju's was the most recent to do it, where this would go up. Well, it's like this, you think it's gonna go up or something, and then you jump, or you think it's gonna go up so you just ride it, but it goes to the right and you fall and die. Or you think it goes to the right, so you jump and then you hit a Kaizo block and it goes up, so it's like you just had to ride it. This is a different version, so this one was, you think it goes to the right, so you have to jump. And it does go to the right, but if you jump, you get stuck up here, and the pipe is CP1. And the reason I had to have this clown card and weird launcher thing is because this launcher here is actually sitting on the skull platform, and it's touching the skull platform that triggers the switch to break all of them. I'm actually gonna show sound effects. So I added a like ding dong sound effect there. That sound effect exists because I had a problem where, so a lot of people avoided the initial version of this troll, and then but they would come back here and be like, oh, well, what was in the pipe? And they just check the pipe, and the pipe is CP1, haha, got him. And it just feels like a cheap, bad, dumb troll. I didn't want that, so I added these one-ways and this ding-dong effect and all of that just to be like, hey, you stood on it the first time, you did it right, don't go doing dumb things. So then you're riding the skull platform. This is a pretty simple troll, but because it's directly below CP2, the CP2 area, I have to have this brick block. See, the first time, the spike ball breaks the brick, and then if I just delete the brick, the spike ball does the troll. And that fireball has to have a parachute. It's weird that this fireball has to have a parachute, because that actually makes its damage hitbox appear sooner or something. Like when an enemy comes out of a block, it can't damage you immediately, but putting the parachute, I think, either reduces it or it just makes it actually more likely to kill you if you jump. Okay, then this, I already had a door here for the actual ending, but I've added the red coin and the Thwomp that gives you a key after a second, just as a little joke, like, because all the red coins are obviously fake, so it's like, haha, you needed the coins, but you really didn't. So you'd be here. There's stuff on the right there, but... And then you're in this room, and you see the ice coins get melted, and that's obviously important too. So the point of this room, it's built similar to kind of another third level, I think it was Bear 24's. Then what it's doing is, like, you can obviously tell this is the area with the goal, and you know the goal can be hidden behind POWs, so you'd be like, well, I'm not going in that pipe, I'm gonna go over here and get the end. But and then the point of the thing is like, oh, it is the end, but you can't get to it because it's up there in the blocks, and that didn't really have the impact I wanted it to, but I'm leaving it in because I think it's funny still. So then, oh, I need to do it again, but you start here and keep a look at this stuff over here. So the bomb is in front of an ice coin, and I have a fireball. Here's a fireball, block, bomb on an ice coin, and the switch there. So that gets melted, and the thing is despawned, and I need to actually get that. So you come in here. Once you've gone that way and seen that it's wrong, you'd come over here and you'd try to go in the pipe, and it's just wrong. So then you'd figure out, oh, go back in the door. And see, because the coin is melted, the bomb is there and is able to be blown up. And that also hits a switch. and you get bomb here, and behind the ice coins there was another bomb and a mushroom and blah blah blah. If you played the level or saw it, you know what happens here. But okay, so that saw is to cover a track which has a block and a switch block there with another bomb. So like the first time it just melts the coin. Then the second time this bomb blows up, hitting the switch. The switch opens up the spot. It opens up the spot here, and then it also sets off this bomb at the top, which blows up. What? I hate. Why am I doing this? I hate how I can grab Toad accidentally always, but okay, yeah. It blows up those two blocks, which are despawning the launcher and the spring, and then the block also stays solid. So then. 1, 2, and then 3, back. Again, the mushroom is there to trap you on the door. So then you're here. So that bomb that's just left of me existed to blow up the block below the door so I can't escape. And then because the two blocks were blown up at the top, it spawns this stuff and the spring to let you out. And I have and this switch block is still solid, so that's despawning the bomb again. And that just is a little path to the CP1 pipe. Okay, so about this ending, get bomb is wrong, but what I was hoping is that this would like this would be funny because you would get it immediately that you had a bomb, you took in here trying to bring the bomb, and it got destroyed by a bomb that was already there. So if you just didn't have it, you'd not have a bomb, or if you just didn't bring it, you'd have a bomb and you'd be fine. But I don't think people got that, at least not the people I've seen play it so far. So a very late addition was this no bomb hint, which is just like, if you didn't get what was happening, it just tells you what to do here. And I think the troll is a lot worse if you need to look at that, but it's good to have it exist. And another thing to point out is that I have 2 CP1s in this level. Wow, how terrible. But there's a reason that I wanted all of this. So the anti-softlock right here is kind of, it's pretty simple, but I wanted it here because, so see, as I said, the first time platform pushes you into it. Then when you respawn at this checkpoint, the blooper falls and hits you. Then, if you fell for the first CP1, jumping off the skull platform, going right into the pipe, you'd get CP1s, and you'd go here, and the blooper would fall and the platform wouldn't come up, and you'd just be able to go on through the level. But then, you're basically guaranteed to fall for the second of the CP1s. And then you'll be in the same spot. You'll dump through here, and you'll get the checkpoint, and you probably won't pay attention to like the visible switch blocks up there. So you'll get CP1s again, but that time the switch is in the other state when you go in the pipe. So that time the platform pushes you into the ante again because you whatever, and that's the whole reason I built this anti-softlock, is so that when you got, so that you would get CP1 the second time and end up in it. I think that that's pretty much all of the things. Here's the full pixel art. Doesn't fit in the level thumbnail because I built it too big. That's fun.